Hello, everyone. My name is Mir, and I'm going to be leading the iOS mobile app development workshop for SBU Hacks 2021. This workshop is being hosted by the Stony Brook Computing Society, also known as SBCS, and the CodePath chapter at Stony Brook. So before we jump into the content, let's just quickly go over who are we and what we do. So Stony Brook Computing Society is essentially a community of people who are passionate about technology and have an interest in a tech-related career path. You don't have to be a CS major to join us. And if you've attended the previous involvement fairs, you've probably heard me say this like 100 times, but we host a number of events such as professional, technical, academic, and even social events. And we host our GBMs, which are our general body meetings, every Wednesday at 1 p.m., unless stated otherwise. And it's always at the engineering building, room 145. So in case you don't know where the engineering building is, if you walk past the SAC, after like the bus stops, there should be the engineering building. And there are three engineering buildings, excuse me. There's light engineering, heavy engineering, and regular engineering. Our GBMs are in regular engineering. So some of the events we've had in the past are, for example, we've had alumni panels where we've had our previous alumni come in and give like talks about how like their career path. And we have alumni working at top tech companies like Apple or Microsoft. We've had technical workshops such as learn how to code a website in under an hour. Also, we've had machine learning and data science workshops. We've had fun social events like game nights with Professor McDonald. We've also had academic events like the course scheduling panels, and also other career-related events like resume workshops and elevator pitch workshops. So we have a very active Discord community. If you want to be a part of our Discord community, feel free to scan this QR code and join our Discord server. We post job and internship opportunities. We also help prepare students for the technical interview by posting a daily programming challenge, which we also discuss on the server. And we also have professors and alumni and a lot of other people and great resources on our Discord server as well. So feel free to join that. These are some of our other social media links. So you can follow us on Instagram. You can join our Facebook group. And you can also check out our website, which is sbcs.io. So Stony Brook Computing Society is actually co-hosting this workshop with CodePath. And if you don't know, CodePath is a nonprofit organization that offers like free technical and computer science related courses on various college campuses. And four main courses that they have are iOS, Android, and cybersecurity. So iOS, Android, and cybersecurity are taught at different campuses, college campuses, by student leaders. So the curriculum is created by CodePath by professional engineers, and then student leaders undergo training, and they teach the courses at their respective colleges. And the technical interview prep is a virtual course over the summer, and it's taught by actual software engineers, and it helps prepare you for like technical interviews, whether it be for your internships or for your jobs. The best thing about CodePath is actually their career resources. So they have a couple of virtual career fairs every year, and students can like attend these career fairs, and it's selective. So you need to like apply and then get accepted into the career fair. And there are a lot of top tech companies that CodePath partners with. So for example, some of their partners include like Microsoft, Coinbase, Facebook, Amazon, Bloomberg, Lyft, Intuit. And a lot of these companies also attend the career fair, and sometimes they get exclusive like application privileges and things like that. So it's a great resource to check out. So there is a CodePath branch at Stony Brook. So currently we offer the iOS mobile app development course. It's a semester-long non-credit course, and we're running it for the second semester this fall. So I was actually one of the founders and instructors of the course, and I also forgot to mention I'm the secretary of the Stony Brook Computing Society. And yeah, anyway, so the course is running for its second semester this semester. Yeah. And last semester we had over 75 applicants who applied, but we were only able to accept 40 students in total. And the way the course works is it's more learning by doing, rather than like theoretical, which is what's common in like most college curricula, like when it comes to computer science. So you actually get to build projects and gain essentially real world experience. So it's a 14-week course. The first 6 weeks focus on building out like 3 applications, like 3 iOS applications from scratch. And students learn how to use the Xcode development environment along with the Swift programming language to build these apps from scratch. So the first 6 weeks are more learning by doing, by building these apps. And then the next 8 weeks, students get in like groups of like 3 to 5, and they work on an original app idea from scratch. So from ideation all the way to like a prototype. And then they eventually present these apps that they build towards the end of the course at the demo days for every college. And then the winners of those demo days eventually go on to like the national demo day, where they can present in front of judges from like top tech companies. Like we've had executives from like Reddit, Facebook attend and judge these demo days. So these are just a few of the apps that students built in the spring 2021 semester here at Stony Brook. Yeah, so if you're interested in applying, applications for fall are currently closed since the semester already started. But if you're interested, the spring 22 applications will open in late 2021, early 2022. So I'd say around December to like February. So you can be on the lookout for that. And you can check out this link, codepath.org/classes for the application. And so, okay, so now that we covered Stony Brook Computing Society and CodePath, let's go to the actual workshop. So a brief overview of iOS app development. There are several languages that are used in iOS development, but CodePath uses Swift, and it's also like a pretty popular language in terms of mobile app development in iOS. And Swift, it was created by Apple. And so Swift is the programming language that we use to code in iOS, specifically for CodePath. And also the development environment that we use is going to be Xcode. And iOS apps are built in Xcode. So make sure you have that installed. You cannot make iOS apps without having Xcode. And in order to have Xcode, you need to run it on a Mac OS. So you can download that directly from the Mac App Store by going to this link over here. And then there are also a few resources for learning Swift. If you already learned like a previous programming language like Java or JavaScript or Python, Swift should not be too hard to like grasp and become familiar with. These are just some resources that can help you in like learning Swift. Apple also has like this interactive app where you can learn syntax. I believe it's called the Playgrounds app. You can also get that from the Mac App Store. Okay, so let's get into a little bit more of the technical side. So I'm going to be doing a demo, but before we get into the demo, let's just cover like a couple of keywords. So on Xcode, you have something that's called the storyboard. And essentially what the storyboard is it's like a UI builder. It allows you to build the user interface like for your application. So for example, if your app requires like a text box, or if your app requires like an image view, you can add those things onto your screen. And then it basically allows you to like design your app, but it's not just a design, it's actually like you're building the actual elements that you're going to be using in your app. So views, they basically help you display the content that you see on your screen, and they also help out with like user interactions. So for example, swiping or like tapping. And view controllers manage your interface, and they basically like facilitate navigation. So if I need to like get from like one page to another. That's what view controllers are for. And you can also check out this documentation to get like a little bit more insight on UIs for Swift. Okay, so the app that we're going to be building for this workshop is a simple tip calculator app. So essentially, if you have like a bill amount, you input that into your app, and then you toggle between the different selected tip percentages, and based on that, percentage, you will be given like the tip amount, and then your total will also be calculated. So we're going to be building this app completely from scratch using Xcode and Swift. So let's jump right in. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is open up Xcode. So I just open up Xcode, and then you're going to go on create a new project. And once you get to that part, you're going to select an app and make sure that it's selected under iOS. So an iOS app. And then you're going to click next. And then you want to give your project a name. So let's just call this SBU Hacks Demo. And then you want to click next. And then you want to save it somewhere. So personally, what I like to do is I keep all my Xcode projects in one folder, so it's easier to track and to like maintain. So you just want to create it in like a designated area. And then once you figure that out, you want to press create. Okay, so now the app is gonna like build the basics for you. So just to reiterate some of the stuff I mentioned, the main.storyboard is your UI builder for your application. So you're going to be given like a wireframe for the app, and then you can like drag elements that you want to add. You can also do this programmatically, but it's easier to visualize if you do it on the storyboard. And then here we have the view controller. So there is one view controller per screen. So as you can see right now, we only have one screen, so we're only going to have one view controller. So if you have a different screen, you're going to have, like if you have a second screen, you're going to have a second view controller. So for example, let's consider the Instagram app. The home page is most likely like very simplistically, the home page would be one view controller, and like the profile page would be a second view controller, and like the explore page would have a different view controller, and so on. So let's go back to main.storyboard, and let's start adding the elements that we are going to need for our tip calculator app. So if you've taken CodePath before, like the CodePath iOS course, this should be pretty familiar, since this was actually the pre-work assignment in the application that you had to build in order to apply. So it's pretty beginner friendly, I'd say. So the first thing you want to do is you want to add a label. So a label is basically text that's displayed on your screen. There's two types of text that we're going to focus on in this demo. So there's a label and there is a text field. So a label is text that you cannot change. It changes either automatically or it's changes like by itself, or maybe it doesn't change at all. But the text field is like a text box where you can directly input in numbers or letters from your keyboard. So first, let's add 3 labels. So you want to go to this plus icon at the top right, and then you want to press on it. It's the library, and then you just want to search for what elements you want to add. So over here, we already have label, so let's add a label. And we're going to need around 4 labels, 5 labels actually. So let's copy and paste that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have a label here, and then a label directly across from there, and then another label here, and then another label here, And yeah, 5. So we made an extra one. Let's delete that. And then what we want to do is we want to add a segmented control. And that's basically a toggling feature. So if you've ever seen in any iOS app where there's like a toggling thing where you can select between different items. So we're going to add that. And the default is 2. So they have first and second. But we want to have different percentages. So let's say we want to add 5%, a 5% tip, a 10% tip, and a 20% tip. So if we go to 5, actually let's do 15% tip, 20% tip and 25% tip. So we have 15. So you see how it says first over here and it says segment 0. If you've taken any programming course, you should know that like when we start counting, we count from 0, specifically in terms of like programming languages. So that's why this is labeled as 0. So we want to change it to 15%. So you just directly write 15%, press enter, it should change. Then you want to go down to the second one. Let's make this one 20%. And then, so we want to add 3 different percentages, right? So instead of having 2 segments, we're going to have 3 segments. So you just increase that and go down to third segment, which should be segment 2 in terms of numbering since we started from 0. So that's going to be 25%. Press enter again. And you can choose to make this bigger if you'd like. So let's just make it a little bigger. And then let's center it towards the middle. Okay. Okay, now we're going to add a text field. So like I mentioned before, text field is basically where you can input in your own text. And let's align it with this. Okay, so this is our text field. And okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to edit the labels. So this label is going to be called bill amount. This label is going to be called your tip. And this is going to be the total. And let's just set some default values for this. So this is going to be $0.00. And then this is also going to be $0.00. Okay. So let's now what we're going to do is we're going to connect each of these elements to the view controller. So remember how I said before that a view controller represents each screen. So now we made some modifications to our screen, right? We added all these different elements, but if you go to the view controller, so if you go to the view controller, like there's nothing there, right? So we need to create these elements by dragging and dropping. So what you want to do is you want to add a second window so you can view both windows at the same time. And let's close this so we have more space. And so the first window has our storyboard. And for our second window, let's open up the view controller. So view controller over here, and then storyboard over here. Okay, so now what you want to do is you want to drag and drop these elements onto the file over here. So essentially, let's create some space, and basically you're just gonna press Control, and then you're just gonna drag it out onto the thing. So let's start out with the bill amount. So I'm gonna press Control on my keyboard, and then I'm going to drag it out. So it's gonna be over here, and it's gonna be it's gonna be an outlet connection, and let's just call this bill amount text field. Then you just press connect, and it's going to be of type UI label since it's a label. And this is a variable, by the way. So in common programming jargon, this would be a variable. Okay, next we're going to do the, we're going to do this one. So the tip percentage label. Actually, no. So this was actually supposed to be a different connection. So let's disconnect that. So this was actually supposed to be our bill amount text field. So we connect that over here. It's going to be bill amount text field, and we press connect. And that's going to be of UI text field, of type text field. And then what we want to do is we want to add the tip amount label. So control drag from here. Add it right under it. And let's call this the tip amount label. Let's connect. This is also a variable, but it's of type UI label. Remember, this is a label, this is a text field. And then we want to do the same thing for the segmented control. So select it, control drag, and let's call this tip control. Disconnect. And the same thing for the total label. Okay, so we have the total label over here. Select it, control drag again, and let's call it total label. Select. And now we want to add a function. So these are our variables. Now we want to create a function. So let's go down to our segmented control one more time. And we're going to drag it over here. We're going to insert an action. Right, so we're going to go directly over here and let's call this calculate tip. So this is a function or a method if you're familiar with Java. And then we're going to press connect. And now we have our function declaration over here. So great. So now we have variables over here, function over here. And then what we want to do is we want to check if everything is connected properly. So we just go on, we right click the view controller and make sure everything is properly connected. So tip amount connects to the tip amount, tip control connects to tip control, total label connects to total label, and the view connects to the view, bill amount text field connects to the bill amount text field, and everything seems to be on point. So we can continue. Okay, so now we're going to get into the coding part of the application. So far, we were just building out the UIs, declaring the variables and the functions, and now we're going to get straight to the coding. Okay, so we're going to focus on the calculate tip function. So we're going to declare our own variable. So let's call the variable bill. So it's going to be let bill, and it's going to be, so this is the bill amount that the user is going to be inputting, right? So it's going to be bill amount, and a lot of iOS and also Android development is like just filling things in. So you just have to like type like the first few characters and then you just fill it in directly. So we're going to take the bill amount text field, and then we're going to take the text property from that field, right? And then what we want to do is we want to cast it as a double, right? So we put it in parentheses, and then we want to have it as a double. And then if there's no such value, we will put the default value as 0. Okay, now saying that something is wrong, so bill amount text field dot text. Oh, we forgot an exclamation point. Okay, so oftentimes they will like the Xcode is like pretty smart, so they will tell you what syntax you're missing or if you're missing anything at all. So we're just gonna highlight fix over here. So that just added the exclamation mark over there. So now that we have the text from like the bill from the text field, we're going to create another variable called tip percentages. Well, it's not really a variable, it's an array. So our array is going to store all the values in the segmented control. So we have 15%, then we have 20%, and then we have 25%. So 0.25. So this is an array. And now we're going to add another variable. So let tip equals. So the tip amount, so let's say my bill is $100, right? And let's say my tip amount is 20%. So how would I get what my value in dollars would be for the tip? I would need to multiply my actual bill by the percentage, right? So for example, I would take 100, multiply it by 0.2, which is 20%, and then get the value of 20. So my tip value will be $20. So essentially what I did was I just multiplied the bill by the specific percentage. So to get the percentage, I'm going to go to the array. So tip percentages, and then I'm going to go on tip control dot selected segment index. So that's the specific percentage that the user toggled on. Okay, and so that's going to calculate my tip. And then my total, so let's create another variable for total. So let total equals the bill plus the tip. So let's go back to our example. If we have a $100 bill, like our bill is $100, and then our tip percentage is 20%. So to get the tip, I multiplied 0.2 by 100, which gave me $20, which is our tip value. And then to get my total value that I have to pay, I would add that to the bill. So it'd be 100 plus 20, giving me a total of 120. So I'm just adding the bill to the tip amount. Okay, so now that we extracted the logic, we want to populate our screen with the logic, right? So we're going to update our labels. So tip amount label dot text is going to be set equal to string. So we're going to cast it as a string, and then we're going to format it. So format, and then this is going to be $%.2f. This is just like formatting. And then for this, it's going to be tip. And then we're going to update the total label. So total label dot text is equal to string. So we're going to cast this as a string as well. String. And then we're also going to format this. And then it's essentially the same format. So $%.2f. And then our argument that we're going to pass in is going to be the total. Okay, so let's continue. Let's see. So this should be the logic of our app. Let's test if it works. So there are two ways to run your code on Xcode. You can either run it directly on your phone by connecting your iPhone to your Mac, or you can just use their built-in emulator that they have. So you can select which emulator you want it to run on, like which device. So let's go with the iPhone 11 Pro. And we're going to press this run button over here. And then our app is going to compile. So our compilation succeeded. Now the app is building out. So you need to give the emulator some time to like power on. Like essentially it's like powering on, like how a phone powers on. And then you just got to give it some time to load. Okay, so this is our text field. Let's select it. Let's say our bill is $150. And let's say we're choosing 15%. So like it's not clearly showing up. So what I would recommend doing would just be to drag this out a little bit more so it's visible. And then drag this out a little bit more. Okay, let's run that again. Say our bill amount is $150. There our tip. So if it's $150, then okay, so this value also needs to be adjusted. So let me just adjust that one. Sorry, one more time. Okay, say $100. Value is 20%. Okay, so there was a minor error over here. So instead of we switched the values. So this was actually supposed to be over here. Let's call this tip. Let's call this the dollars. Okay, now let's run it. Okay, bill amount, let's say $100. And our percent is 20%. So our tip amount is going to be $20. And then our total is going to be 100 plus 20. So same thing for 25%, 15%, it's going to be 115. This is essentially the bare bones of this application. You can design it however you choose. When I first built the app, I designed it like the screenshot that the GIF that I showed. So just added some colors, some dividers to make everything more organized and more visually pleasing. But yeah, this is the application and it works. Right, so this was a very brief intro into iOS mobile app development. If you've watched it this far, I really appreciate it. Thank you. And yeah, be sure to check out SBU, like the Computing Society. And also, if you're interested, check out the CodePath course, and applications for that will be opening in either December or early next year. So be sure to check those out. And yeah, I wish you guys all the best on your hacks.